Hello students, welcome back to our channel. Students, in this video we are going to discuss a very important topic from class 12th physics chapter semiconductors. We will discuss about the classification of conductors, insulators and semiconductors and how we can distinguish between these on the basis of a very important thing which is called energy band diagrams. Let's start. Students, when a material is in solid form, if a material is in liquid form or in gaseous form, the atoms of that material are quite far from each other. But if the material is in solid form, the atoms in that material are very tightly packed. So what happens? The internal shells of atoms are separate from each other, but the external shell of every atom gets mixed up and we cannot distinguish between the electrons of external shell of one atom to that of the other atom. For example, suppose this is an atom and this is the nucleus and this is the external shell of the atom. Now, if this is packed in solid state, so the external shells of two atoms are like this. They are overlapped, they are going into each other, but the internal shells are separated from each other. This is the internal shell. Suppose this atom has two shells, right? This atom has two shells. So this is the nucleus. Let me clearly distinguish it from the other. So this is the nucleus and this is the first shell, this is the second shell. So let us look at the second atom. Now this is the nucleus of the second atom, this is the nucleus of the second atom, right? This is the nucleus of the second atom and the nuclei of both these atoms are clearly separated from each other and the first shell is also not overlapping, but the second shell, which is the outermost shell, the second shell which is the outermost shell or the third shell, whatever with the outermost shell, second shell or third shell, the outermost shells of the atoms are going into each other. They are all overlapped because this structure is of a solid form and in solid form atoms are tightly packed with each other. So the external shells, they merge into each other. If we draw a third atom, I'm drawing just the external shell of the third atom, the outermost shell, and that will be like this, going into both of these or more than two atoms, because this structure is in 3 dimensions. So there are atoms here, there are atoms here, there are atoms here. So you have to just visualize this thing, that the outermost shells of every atom, they are merging into each other. So if there is an electron here, suppose there is an electron here, so we cannot say that that electron belongs to this atom or this atom, right? So this is what happens in solid state. Now let us take the example of silicon. Let us take the example of silicon. Electronic configuration of silicon is what? Atomic number Z. Atomic number Z of silicon is 14. So electronic configuration of silicon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. Right? 2 plus 2, 4 plus 6, 10 plus 2, 12 plus 2, 14. So the third shell is the outermost shell. So first shell of every silicon atom is different from each other. That is clearly separated, that this first shell belongs to this atom, this first shell belongs to this atom. Second shell is also different for each atom, but the third shell, which is the outermost shell, because 3 likha na yahan pe, so third one is the outermost shell. So third shell of every silicon atom will merge into each other. Now when we are talking in atomic scales, we are talking in about the atomic level. So what happens? What is the main meaning? What is the meaning of merging the shells together? It is not the physical merging. We are talking about the energies of the shells. For example, this electronic configuration represents what? You will say, if you will say that 1s is the subshell which is the closest to the nucleus, and then there lies 2s, then 2p, then 3s, then you are wrong. These shells are not arranged according to the distance from the nucleus. These shells are arranged, or subshells are arranged according to the energies. 1s is that subshell in which there are 2 electrons of least energy, and 2s is that shell in which there are 2 electrons which have energy more than the energy of 1s electrons. So these are arranged in the order of increasing energies. So when we say that the outermost shell of every atom will merge into each other, we are saying that there will be no separation between the energies of 3s and 3p electrons in case of silicon of every atom in the silicon structure. So what happens? Two types of energy bands are created in a solid structure. One is called the valence band, and the second one is called the conduction band. Right. So what are valence bands and conduction bands? So in solid form, all the outermost shells of every atom, they get merged into each other. So the energies of all the electrons which are in the outermost shell, they get mixed up, and those energies come in a particular range, and that range is called the valence band. So it is the energy range in which the energies of electrons in outermost shell energy range in which the energies of electrons in outermost shells lie. Energy range of the electrons which are there in the outermost shell, that energy range is called the valence band. When the substance is in gaseous state, one atom is there and one atom is quite far away from this atom, and the third one is quite far away from that atom. So the outermost shells of every atom is separated from the other atom. So the energies are different. But when they are packed in a solid form, when the atoms are formed in a solid structure, the energies of electrons in the outermost shells of all the atoms get mixed up and they fall in a particular range, and that range is called the valence band. And what is conduction band? Conduction band is the range of energies of electrons which is required for the conduction. Conduction is what? Conduction is the flow of electrons through a conductor, right? We have studied that metals are good conductors of electricity, non-metals are bad conductors of electricity. So conduction means simply, electrical conduction means simply the flow of electrons through the material. So conduction band is the energy band or energy range in which the energies of electrons lie for conduction. So on the basis of these energy bands, we can distinguish between conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Let us see how. So we are drawing a very important thing which is called the energy band diagram. Let's start with the conductor. Let's start with the insulator first. So energy band diagrams. Energy energy band diagrams. Energy band diagrams are what? Energy band diagrams for the suppose insulator. So valence band is that range in which the energy of outermost electrons lie. एटम के जो आउटर मोस्ट शेल के इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं उनकी एनर्जी जिस रेंज में लाई करती है दैट इज कॉल्ड वैलेंस बैंड, एंड जिस रेंज में लाई करनी चाहिए ताकि वो कंडक्ट कर सके, राइट, द रेंज इन विच द एनर्जी शुड लाई सो दैट द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स कैन कंडक्ट, दैट एनर्जी रेंज इज कॉल्ड द कंडक्शन बैंड. सो इन केस ऑफ इंसुलेटर्स देयर इज अ ह्यूज एनर्जी गैप बिटवीन द वैलेंस बैंड एंड द कंडक्शन बैंड. In case of insulator, suppose this is, now this is the energy band diagram for an insulator, this is the conduction band and this is the valence band, right? Energy band diagram means what? We are showing the energies of the electrons. So this is the lowest value of energy, and as we move higher in this diagram it represents the higher value of energy. So this is called the valence band. This is the valence band VB, which means that the energies of electrons which are in the outermost shell lie in this range, right? And this is the conduction band. This is the conduction band CB, in which the energies of electrons should lie so that they can conduct. So in case of insulator, there is a huge energy gap between these two. There is a huge energy gap between these two, which can be, we can obviously overcome this energy gap. This is a huge energy gap, but this energy gap is not infinite. Energy gap is represented by EG, energy gap. So suppose we are talking about plastic, let us say. So we know that plastic do not conduct because the electrons in the outermost shell of the atoms in the material plastic are having energy, very low energy, and to conduct their energy should be in this range. But obviously this energy gap can be fulfilled, but if you start heating the plastic, so the electrons of the plastic gain energy, and before they gain this much energy such that they come to the conduction band, the plastic will not remain plastic, it will melt down, right? So before overcoming this energy gap, the shape, the material, the properties of insulator changes. So practically we do not use them to conduct electricity because it is not possible. It is not impossible, but practically it is not possible, right? In case of semiconductors like silicon and germanium conductors. In case of semiconductors, there is a very small energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band. There is a very small energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band. This is the conduction band and this is the valence band. So there is a very small energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band that can be fulfilled at a temperature of about 30-35 degree centigrade. So at 0 degree centigrade, these materials like silicon and germanium, which are semiconductors, they are insulators at 0 degree centigrade. But as the temperature is increased and before coming to temperatures like 25, 30, 35 degree centigrade, they start conducting. Because what happens, since there is a very small energy gap between valence band and conduction band, so when you start heating the semiconductor, electrons start jumping from the valence band to conduction band. Electron was here, and after heating it gains energy and it goes to conduction band. It goes to conduction band means now the energy of the electron is increased and the energy comes into the range of conduction band, and now it is ready for conduction. So some heating is required before the semiconductor turns into a very good conductor. And if we draw the energy band diagrams of metals, means conductors, so we will see that, I'll just draw. This hole is the valence band, right? This hole is the valence band. So this is the valence band, right? And this is the conduction band. This is the conduction band. So we can clearly see that there is some part of the conduction band which is already in the valence band, or there is some part of the valence band which is already in the conduction band. So these electrons, they are part of the valence band, this region. Electrons in this energy range are the part of valence band as well as they are the part of conduction band. So without heating, these electrons are ready all the time for conduction. So you just need an external push, and that push is required for semiconductors also, and that external push is given by the cell or battery, right? Electrons are ready for the conduction, but there is some push which is required because electrons is negatively charged. So it needs a positive end towards which it can flow. So battery provides that. So a little push is required and these electrons start drifting towards the positive end. But before the little push, in this semiconductor, some heating is required so that there are some electrons in the conduction band. So this is how you can distinguish between insulators, semiconductors and conductors on the basis of energy band diagrams. So I'll meet you in the next lecture. Till then, all the very best.